Ohio Senator J.D. Vance took the stage and was introduced as a vice presidential candidate running on the same ticket as former President Donald Trump. Obviously, the crowd out here, the delegates, extremely excited. They erupted in cheers, many telling me that he was among the preferred choices to be on the same ticket with Donald Trump. This announcement coming just a short time ago. Now, let's go to some video from earlier today. Over the past few hours, delegates will hear from a number of speakers. Some of those taking the stage this week include Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, both of which challenged Trump in the primary before dropping out. Trump himself will accept his party's nomination on Thursday, with his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, speaking Wednesday night. This morning, Wisconsin's delegation sat down for the first time together during a breakfast where Senator Ron Johnson was a surprise speaker. Johnson spoke about the assassination attempt on former President Trump Saturday night, telling us that around the time that he found out, it came by text message while he was out on Lake Winnebago. Johnson says it is time to push hard for some unity across the country.
Welcome back. As promised, time now to head live to Milwaukee in the Fiserv Forum. Our political reporter Jason Zimmerman, covering the Republican National Convention all week long, joins us live now. So Jason, just give us, first of all, a little scene setter. Obviously a little quiet now after all the activity we saw earlier this afternoon, but tell us what you're seeing from your perch high atop the forum there.
Yeah, Chris, we have a great view from a suite here inside Fiserv Forum right behind me. That is the stage where former President Donald Trump will accept his party's nomination on Thursday night. Just a short time ago, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance was up on that stage, and he was working the crowd as well with a number of delegates shaking hands and so forth as he was being introduced as the vice presidential pick for Trump. This is a big announcement. It's something the crowd has been waiting for when he gives a speech before a national audience with a lot of independents and undecided voters expected to watch. This is something local delegates tell me will be a big deal. Having front row seats at the Republican National Convention, Wisconsin's delegation appeared on the convention floor for the very first time Monday afternoon, with its 3 members from the 8th Congressional District sharing this picture to show their excitement.
Brown County is a huge contender for the election this year. It's one of 5 counties that will determine the election, and so super excited to be representing Green Bay out of all places.
23-year-old Dixon Wolf is among the youngest delegates in the group. He's hoping to be a voice for others his age who are undecided heading into November's election.
Jason Zimmerman speaking to both sides today. He's live in Milwaukee with your voice, your vote coverage. Jason.
Bill, another big night for delegates coming up, but still right now everyone out here talking about that big appearance that Donald Trump made on the floor last night, especially those delegates representing northeastern Wisconsin who have front row seats. Seeing Donald Trump for the first time since this assassination attempt wearing a big bandage over his ear left delegates like George Bureau from Neenah sensing the historic moment.
It was just the buzz that went through the crowd, and that and the music that led up to it, and the speakers were phenomenal. But it just brought this huge energy into the whole crowd.
That moment Monday night still being discussed at a Wisconsin GOP breakfast the next day, where former Wisconsin Governor Tommy Thompson pointed to the picture taken just minutes after the shooting of Trump, standing up and vowing to fight.
And when he came up off of the floor, blood on his face, disheveled, fist in the arm, and the American flag behind him, saying, "Fight! Fight on! Fight!" That was an iconic picture, just like Iwo Jima.
State Democrats Tuesday condemning the political violence, but saying Trump also holds some responsibility for what took place.
Donald Trump, of course, is the person who egged on his supporters to fight for Trump and try to stop a certification of an election on January 6th in 2020.
Cammie, the former governor, very energetic while speaking to delegates this morning at the GOP breakfast. Afterwards, I was able to ask him a few questions about Donald Trump's appearance on the convention floor last night and the upcoming November election.
God bless her,
It was this moment on the convention floor Monday night where Donald Trump appears wearing a big bandage over his ear that every Wisconsin delegate, including former Governor Tommy Thompson, now calls inspirational and a catalyst for political change.
I think, you know, for how terrible it was for what took place on Saturday night and the near assassination of the president, that what really has come out of this is a feeling and a movement that we're together and we're going to start acting more civilized and more adult-like. And I think that is fantastic.
Cammie Renee White made the last-minute decision on Sunday to attend the RNC. Even though she doesn't have tickets to be inside the arena here, she wanted to come to be a part of the atmosphere when Donald Trump makes his acceptance speech on Thursday night. It's a scene everyone at the Republican National Convention won't likely forget, as Donald Trump appears for the first time on the convention floor with a bandage covering his ear, where he was shot just a few days ago. In Milwaukee, outside the arena, I spoke with Renee White, who was right behind the former president during the assassination attempt.
And I'm looking at the Jumbotron, and all of a sudden I heard the first shot. And like I immediately, and I've told everybody, I don't know whether I actually seen it or it's just I followed the sound, I don't know. But it came from there, and I immediately went to Trump.
Take a look at what happened.
In the video during the time of the incident, you can see White dressed in bright blue Trump attire, just over the former president's shoulder on the left side of the screen.
I'm sitting there, and people are dropping off this side, and people are dropping off of that side, and I'm like this is crazy, you know, like they're trying to get between the seats and the benches, and I'm just standing there, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? Like, this is nuts. It was like an out-of-body experience.
White says she's lucky she wasn't hit and feels bad for those who were. She plans to wear the blue outfit she had on at the time through Election Day in November. After attending 32 rallies since 2016, this one has the most impact. Bill, if you are a delegate coming to this convention, tonight's address by Donald Trump is the precise moment you've been waiting for. On the convention floor, Wisconsin's delegation now more excited than ever to be just a few feet away from one of Donald Trump's biggest moments in the spotlight.
This is huge tonight. I think the message of unity is crucial for all of us. I'm just so excited to hear what he has to say. I know he rewrote his whole speech, so this is going to be something very uplifting, and I can't even express the excitement I have for it.
Barbara Bittner is the first ever Calumet County delegate to represent the 8th Congressional District at the RNC. And right beside her will be Stephanie Susek from the Sturgeon Bay area.
It's just going to be an amazing feeling to be in there when he comes out, and the whole place is going to light up and, stand up, and we're going to just be going crazy, I think.
Bill, this is the first day of the convention, and Wisconsin delegates tell me they are excited to be a part of history here on the floor of the United Center. Many met for the first time this morning over breakfast and received a surprise visit from a key member of the Harris campaign. Wisconsin delegates erupting Monday morning as vice presidential nominee and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz came to personally address them to open the DNC in Chicago.
We're going to show America over the next 3 days is what democracy looks like. It's inclusive. It's joyous.
For delegates like Henry Fries, who grew up in Waupaca County, it's an experience he'll never forget.
We just saw the future vice president of the United States of America speak here, and the energy was amazing. We need to take that energy. We need to bring it home. We need to bring it to Waupaca. We need to bring it to everyone in the 8th CD.
He wasn't the only big name to take the stage, with Wisconsin delegates also hearing from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who was clear about the stakes in November.
If we win the House, and I know you have a couple of key seats here in Wisconsin, which you're going to win, and if we elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz president and vice president, you ain't seen nothing yet.
On the other side of the aisle, Republican Senator Ron Johnson met with reporters at the Trump Hotel, saying Vice President Harris should be held accountable for the policies of the Biden administration, which have led to inflation and a border crisis.
With our political reporter, Jason Zimmerman, live in Milwaukee. Jason just kind of being a vagabond, moving along with the ticket here. He was in Chicago yesterday, now he's in Milwaukee. But Jason, why is this unusual, what we are going to see tonight in Milwaukee?
Chris, this is something that Democrats are saying has never been done before, where a presidential candidate leaves the host city the week of their convention to hold a rally in a different location. But Democrats also see this as an opportunity. Illinois not really in play. It's likely to vote blue in November, but Wisconsin very much a battleground state. And Democrats don't want to take their eye off the prize here.
Chief political reporter Jason Zimmerman is here with a preview. He's live in Chicago with Your Voice, Your Vote coverage. Jason.
Kami, a lot of activity taking place right now inside the United Center as delegates begin to take their seats for tonight's programming, which includes an acceptance speech by Vice President Kamala Harris. We also wanted to show you the view that those from Wisconsin will have. While most of the country will be watching from a television screen when Vice President Kamala Harris takes the stage, delegates like Ann Jacobs from Wisconsin couldn't get much closer, telling us she is super excited with big expectations for what's likely to be said.
Her vision, what direction she wants to see things go. I think it's her opportunity to tell all of us here and all of the folks watching at home what that Harris administration is going to look like, and I think she's going to knock it out of the park.
Being a key battleground state, this is how close the Wisconsin delegation is to the stage. They'll be watching Vice President Harris when she makes her address Thursday night from just a few feet away. However, outside the arena, thousands of protesters are expected, which has been the case for the convention all week. A vast majority are calling on the Biden administration to end the war between Israel and Hamas.
Live from the Mothie Center on UWGB's campus, WBAY presents the 8th Congressional Debate.
It has been, and it is now.
Jesse,
I understand your passion, and I would encourage you to
Jesse
go
would
forward
like to clarify. Jesse would like to clarify the question to Mr.
Weed. After 2 tumultuous years of politics, our polls are finally closed and the counting is underway. Wisconsin's results could shift the balance of power in D.C. as the nation picks a new president.
Ours is a fight for the future, and it is a fight for freedom.
Kamala, you're fired. Get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
And it's not just the White House. Capitol Hill could see some major changes tonight.
And you know what? We're not going back.
Make America great and restore the American dream, right?
It is literally in our hands to bring this home.
And I guarantee you that I will give it everything that I have.
Plus the State Assembly and Senate and more all up for grabs tonight. Our team is standing by across the state to bring you the latest coverage on Your Voice, Your Vote. This special Election Night 2024 edition of Action 2 News at 10 starts right now.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this 2024 election night. Tonight, high stakes races across the board, especially for the country's commander-in-chief, coming to a pinnacle. Millions of Americans, tens of millions, casting their votes today. A lot of people voting in that early in-person voting as well. The margins of these races coming down to some razor-thin ones.
As predicted here in the battleground Wisconsin, early polls show the presidential race a virtual tie. The latest Marquette University Law School poll, released just a couple of days ago, shows Democrat Vice President Kamala Harris leading 50-49 over Donald Trump among likely voters over, as we mentioned, Donald Trump. Now, our Action 2 News team live at watch parties for multiple high-stakes races for Wisconsin seat in the U.S. Senate. The 8th congressional race will also join the details of each candidate in just a few minutes. We're still early in the race now for president. As of right now, Republican Donald Trump is leading Democrat Kamala Harris with a 6-point lead. Now make that a 7-point lead according to those numbers.
Havdi also mentioning it could take some time for these results to come in from across the state. Of course, we'll continue to bring you the very latest updates right here on Action 2 News as well as online.
But you got to look at that margin. That's a significant margin right there. Donald Trump up 61 to 34%. This is an area that Democrats needed to do well in.
But here at the Lyerly campaign, here at the election party, they are saying it's not over until it is over.
A Walworth County judge has granted an extension for voting at polling locations in the city of Whitewater. It was a request from the Democratic National Party.
Tony, we declared victory here at the Legacy in Green Bay before 15% of the votes were even counted for the 8th Congressional District.